We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation shlokas. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hey everyone, good evening. As we are covering the Upadesha Sara, we will start with the Mangalacharna of Upadesha Sara. I am going to post the Mangalacharna shloka in the chat window in case if you don't have. And one of you please go off mute and repeat after me. Antaryascha bahirvidhutatimiram
Antaryascha bahirvidhutimiram
jyotirmayam shashvatam
Jyotirmayam Shashwatam
anam prapya virajate vinamatam
Sthanam Prapya Virajate Vinamtam
ajnanamunmulayan
Ajnana Unmulayan
Pashyan Vishwamapidamullasatiyo
Pashyan Vishwam Pida Mullasatiyo
Vishwasya Pare Paraha
Vishwasya Pare Paraha
Tasmai Shri Ramanaya Loka Gurave
Tasmai Shri Ramanaya Loka Gurave
Shokasya Hantre Namaha.
Shokasya Hantre Namaha.
As you are covering Upadesha Sara, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi started the topic with the topic of karma marga. And then he said that कर्तया राज्ञा प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहो ततो पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम्. So there he elaborated the problem with performing karma. That karma binds us and it holds us into this samsara, and it can never help us progress into spirituality. On the other hand, Ishwararpitam Nechaya Krutam Chitta Shodhakam Mukti Sadhakam. On the other hand, what happens is the same karma, when it is performed as karma yoga with Ishwararpana Buddhi, with Prasada Buddhi, without expecting anything in return, and whatever we take, it as a grace of God, and we only perform our obligatory duties. Then what happens is the same karma helps us with Chitta Shodhakam and Mukti Sadhakam. So it will purify our mind, it will purify our heart, and then it will help us walk towards the Mukti. Now, in this, what we heard is that there are terms such as Ishwararpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi, meaning like love for God and respect for God are all expected. Now, when those are expected, how do I get love for God? What do I need to do? So there, he shifted the uh, direction from Karma Marga to Bhakti Marga. Now, understand that Karma Marga and Bhakti Marga, they are not different paths. They are all same path. Okay? It is just that it is different too. Okay. So there, he said, Kayam Vangmanah Karyamuttamam Pujanam Japas Chintanam Kramat. So this bhakti can be expressed through three instruments: the physical body, kaya, vak, which is speech, and manas, which is our mind. Among this, with kaya, you can perform puja, meaning with the body, you can perform puja. With speech, you can perform japa. And with mind, we can perform chintana. Now, so these are graded where he said that compared to puja, japa is better. Compared to japa, chintanam is better. Now, how should the puja be done? Now, Bhagavan is Ramana Maharshi ji. He is very careful about not limiting puja to something that we perform in temple in front of a shrine. Rather, he is saying that Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrut Deva Pujanam. This whole Jagat, this whole world must be understood as Bhagwan. So Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. So Yukta also means combining. So Isha, Bhagwan and Jagat, all of them has to be together combined and with Seva. So combine with Seva and do the puja. And understand this entire world is nothing but this Ashtamurti. What is the Ashtamurti? Eightfold form of God, five great elements, Panchamahabhutas, right? And in addition to Panchamahabhutas, then we are also talking about Surya. Surya is representing all the luminous bodies in this world, meaning all the stars, fire, etc. Where our self illumination is there. And then Chandra. Chandra is representing all non-luminous entities. So non-luminous entities meaning all planets, satellites, etc. Where they don't have any shine of their own, but they get that shine from someone else, some other thing. Like so, for example, in the night sky, we can see Jupiter, we can see Saturn or Venus, etc. None of them are luminous, but they still glow because of sun. So those are all represented as moon. So Panchamahabhutas plus sun plus moon, and finally Jiva. So this Jiva is also Bhagwan. So this Ashtamurti means understand that everything in this universe is Bhagwan alone. So with that attitude, we must perform puja. Then, covering this puja topic, then he moved the topic to japa. There he said that when we perform japa, when we do japa, the japa can be categorized like multiple gradations are there even within japa. Uttama sthavat uccha mandatah chittajam japa dhyanam uttamam. So he said uttama sthavat, meaning speaking Allah. Sthavat means stotram. Stotra means like, so for example, Vishnu Sahasranam Stotram, Lakshmi Ashtotra Stotram, or the, what you call like, Rudram is a Stotram. Like that, you can do any kind of Stotram. Even Hanuman Chalisa is a Stotra, like that, right? So there could be Vaidika Stotras or non-Vaidika Stotras. Even bhajans are also considered as stava only. And all of these are one category, stava. Then come, and then there's japa that you can do loudly. So where you can sit in a corner and chant Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, like that, or Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, like that. Any japa you perform aloud. That is one more category. So one category number one is perform doing stotras or bhajans, or even singing the songs of Lord. Right? Second thing is chanting aloud. Third is chanting quietly, only where you can hear. So that is like, so something like that. So where I can hear my voice. And the other one is chittajam, only in mind alone is busy with chanting like this. So Among this, again, there is a gradation, he said. Compared to stava, stava meaning compared to doing the stotras, etc., loud japa is better. And compared to that loud japa, the quiet japa is better. So then compared to manda japa, now again, like usually when you say manda, right? Typically manda means dull-witted, lazy. People are also called as manda. Okay, so here that manda is not referring to that laziness or something like that. It is rather it is saying that it is talking about the dullness of the sound. Okay, so that is manda japa. So where in manda japa, so it is called as nijashruti gochara or upamshu japa. So that means what happens is lips. There is a Sanskritam definition where जिह्वेष्टौ चालये किंचित देवतागत मानसः निजः श्रवण योगस्यात् उपांशु सजप स्मृतः. That is what the definition of manda japa. That means lips are moving slightly, and not just lips are moving and mind is going somewhere. No, no, no. Mind has Bhagwan. Jih, jihveshtau chalaye. This jihveshta, the jihva meaning tongue is moving. Kinchit. This little bit. Devatagata manasaha nijas. Okay. So that means the mind has got Bhagwan. Okay. Mind is filled with Bhagwan. And Nijastravana Yoga Syat. Okay. Nijastravana Yoga Syat means only the seeker is able to hear these words. This is called Upamshu Japa. Okay. So this is what Manda Japa is. Then, and as I'm evolving, Chintana. Chintana, in Chintana, what happened is Manda Japa, we said, Nijashruti Gochara, we said. Right? Then, by the way, then Ucha Japa what? Ucha Japa is Parashruti Gochara. Parashruti Gochara means other people also can hear what you're saying. Manda Japa is Nijashruti Gochara, that is, you alone are able to hear. And Chintana or Dhyana is no Shruti Gochara, meaning nobody, including myself, can hear. Okay. So this is called as Dhyanam or Chintanam. So now, why are we calling this Chintana as Dhyanam? Because Pujanam japas chintanam kramat, etc. Right? So now suddenly, like, okay, why are you calling this chintana as dhyana, etc.? Is because this chintana is basically what is happening is that what are you doing? We are doing the chanting. With what? Not with mouth, but with mind. Now, when you're chanting the name of the Lord in the mind, what should be the thoughts of the mind? It should be about Bhagwan only. So now any thought and every thought must be of Bhagwan when you are doing this japa, okay, or this chintan or manasa japa. Then what happens when every thought is about Bhagwan? Then that is called as sajat. All the thoughts are similar thoughts. So that in Sanskritam, the term that is used as sajatiya vritti pravaha. Jati means kind. Okay, so the jati means this type or that type or this category or that category. Categorization, right? So that categorization. So sajatiya means they're all of the same category. Okay, what are all of the same category? Vrittis, meaning all the thoughts are of the same categories, and it is the flow of all the thoughts that are of the same category. The sajatiya vritti pravaha is dhyanam. So that is what this chintana is. So now, how better is Ucha Japa compared to Manda Japa, compared to Manasa Japa, like that? It is said that compared to Stavana, meaning doing a stotram or something like that, doing a Japa is 10 times better. So, Why is 10 times better? I mean, what is the big deal? Why is it better in the first place? Why Ucha Japa is better than Stotra Patana? Because in Stotra Patana, there's so many words are coming and you are thinking about this and that, etc. Okay? You don't know many of those words. Whereas when you're doing japa, you're only repeating one name alone, one name of Bhagwan that you are familiar with, that you know, and that you are your mind loves and you are associated with. Okay, where you have personal attachment to that name. Okay, so Om Namo Narayanaya. You love Vishnu Bhagwan, so you know Narayana means Vishnu Bhagwan. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. When you're chanting like that, that Narayana Bhagwan alone is there. Okay, that is something that I can hold on to. So that is why Ucha Japa, meaning Japa is any Japa is better than Stavana. Now, in Ucha Japa, what happens is that when you're chanting aloud, the mind, I mean, like you are looking here and there probably and all of that. In Manda Japa, and then like also the attention is also comes sometimes changes. People are, like let's say if you work up little late as in, by the time, let's put it this way, by the time you woke up and got ready to do japa, others in the house also woke up. Now what happens? You're doing Ucha Japa. Other people are talking. I am doing japa. Those people are talking. They should listen to me. I mean, they should be hearing the japa because this is Shrestha, etc. That kind of a ego comes, that kind of a distractions come when we are doing that kind of a japa. So when you're doing this manda japa, there is no scope for such distractions. When you're repeating the name of the Lord, only you know whether you utter the name of Rama or Krishna. Okay, so the scope for that ego is less. So that's why Manda Japa is better than Ucha Japa. So see here, it is not chanting aloud or chanting low makes the difference. No, it is the attitude where the distractions are minimized and the power of concentration is becoming more. And this is depending upon our own maturity. Nothing to do with Ucha Japa or Manda Japa. Okay. It is a better tool for us based upon where we are. Okay. And then now either in Ucha Japa or Manda Japa, uh, I may be chanting the name of the Lord, but the mind can go somewhere else. Right? So I think there was a Kabir Das Doha yesterday or a couple of days ago. Someone was mentioning that to me, and uh, I, I learned it when I was young. But when they said, "Oh yeah, I know this Doha," but then I forgot again. But basically, it is like in the hand mala is rotating in the hand. Mouth is saying Ram, 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 but the mind is going all over. Yeah. So that's what one of Kabir Doha is there. So anyway, compare. So that is the problem with either of Ucha Japa or Manda Japa. Meaning problem meaning like it can happen, but in Manasa Japa, you have to think about Lord alone. Only then it is japa. Otherwise, it is not japa. It is you're like thinking about something else. So I can say, hey, today I took the mala. We practiced mala, right, last week. So I took the mala and I did 5 rounds of what? Ram, Ram, Ram. Okay. But was my mind on Ram? No, 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 no. When I was doing the mala is rotating and the finger is rotating the mala. I'm saying Ram, Rama, but my mind is on my office work. My mind is on my kids. My mind is on what do I do? What do I need to do next? All of that was going on. So those kind of things could be distractions could be there, internal distractions. Whereas in Manasa Japa, either I'm chanting the name of Rama or I'm thinking. There's no other word. Okay, there's no parallel processing going on. Okay, something going on inside and something else is going on outside. That kind of a thing is not there. So that's why Manasa Japa is again way better. So this is where what we discussed so far. Right? Any questions on anything that we covered so far? Okay. Now we will turn to the next shloka. Okay, so this is the shloka number 7. Now, Bhagwan has talked about puja and japa. Now, what is the nature of chintana? That is the next topic. Okay? So Karma Yoga is done. Bhakti Yoga started. In that, Puja, Japa, Chintana categorization is done. And Puja and Japa are covered. Now, Chintanam is, the nature of Chintana is being described in the shloka, next shloka. So, these words are all like very simple. I'll break down the words. Ajya. These are like two words, Ajya and Dharaya. Ajya Dharaya. Srotasa. Samam. Sarala Chintanam. So Sarala and Chintanam. Sarala Chintanam. Virataha Param. Again, one word each. So one of you please go off mute and repeat after me. Ajyadharaya srotasa samam.
Babaji, are you muting? If you're speaking, you have to unmute. You have to unmute. I can do it. Yeah.
Ajyadharaya srotasa samam.
Ajidhareya shrotasa samam
Sarala chintanam viralatah param.
sarala chintanam viralatah param.
So there are two words that are there, Sarala and Virala. Okay. Sarala means natural. Sarala means effortless. Sarala means simple. Sarala means no interruption. Virala is not natural. And Virala means it is not opposite of Sarala either. Okay. So Sarala and Virala are not opposite to each other. Rather, Virala is something that requires effort. So it is broken. If I ask one of you to, okay, so someone around you asks one of you to go bring a cup from the next room. You don't have any problem in getting up, walking to the next room, bringing the cup. So the walking that you have done is Sarala walk. Okay, simple, natural, effortless. Now, a baby is trying to walk just now. So they get up with an effort and take one step and second step and they fall. Okay. When that happens, so what is happening? The baby is walking, no doubt, no question. But it requires effort. It is not yet natural for that child. Okay, that baby. Now, if you ask that baby to bring the cup from the next room, by the time, if it is a ceramic cup or something, by the time they bring the cup, it is broken into 100 pieces. If it is a steel cup or something, it will have 10 or 15 dents, right? So that's the difference between Sarala and Virala. Okay. So now, when I start doing Chintanam, initially what happens, I need to think. Okay. When I need to think about God, what happens? Oh, Bhagwan, I need to think about Bhagwan. How long should I think? Oh, I have to think. Okay. I'm thinking about Krishna. What time is it? Is it not 10 minutes yet? Oh, it's only 2 seconds. Okay. Krishna. Then do something else, or like, mind goes somewhere else like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but that is our natural progression. Okay. So like think about like anything and everything when we started doing bicycling, okay, how many times we fell down, okay, before we could effortlessly bicycle. And when once we effortlessly learned to once we learned bicycling, I don't know if all of you did. If we want to show off, like no hands on the handle, and then we try to bike. Okay, we try to bike while standing. Okay, so we lift the front wheel and bicycle. All of those stunts we try to do, but in the beginning, I can't even move. If my attention is not in the center of the handle, cycle would fall off, fall down. Okay, so this was how it is. So that's a natural progression, whether it is our experience with bicycling, our experience with swimming, also experience with learning anything is like that. Okay, that we start as Virala and then go to Sarala. So here two examples are given. Okay, Ajyadharaya Srotasa Samam. Okay, Ajyadhara is one example. Srotasa is another example. Ajya dhara means what? Flow. Okay? Dhara means flow. Aja means ghee. So, if not necessarily the store bought, okay, but if you actually have nice ghee, okay, homemade ghee, okay, and when you're pouring that, even oil for that matter, okay, Bhagwan has used the word ghee because usually ghee is shreshth, okay. But even like if you take olive oil or any other oil, like where there's no dirt in them, there's no foreign objects. When you pour, you see that it is one continuous flow without any break. Okay. The all the See, if you pour water, what happens is that water you see like if you open the tap, sometimes it could be like uh, it may come in a sprinkle manner. Sometimes it would be like in a jagged manner and all of that. But with this ghee or oils or anything, what happens is that these apparently, I mean, I'm not that expert, but apparently the particles of them, of each molecules are stuck to each other. So because they are stuck to each other and they are so dense, they all come together. And that's why there is no break in the flow. So in the same way, when our mind matures and our love for God is continuous, and when our love for God is compact, tight, then there is no effort needed. Okay? And you will go. Okay? So this is Ajyadhara. Now there is Srotasa Samam. Now, one challenge with Ajyadhara is that there's a little bit of actually of effort is there in the sense like someone has to hold the ghee container to pour. Now when the water, Srota, okay, so now Srota is river. Now in the flow of a river, there's no effort is required. Okay. When the river is flowing, no effort is required. It flows. And the way it flows is that when there's a rock in between, it doesn't say, oh my God, there is a rock. I don't know what to do. Not a rock, let's say a hill. Okay, a rock is too small. Let's say a hill is there in between. And say, okay, it hits the hill, it splits, goes around the hill and merges and continues to go. It doesn't care what came in its way or what it come in its way. It continually flows until it reaches its destination, and the destination is ocean. So, Srota, the flow of river, what is happening? That flow is not stopping until it reaches its destination. So, but that flow is having a little bit of a break here, break there. You see, like when you go to, if you see river Ganga, when it was Alakananda or Bhagirathi or Mandakini, meaning like, Alakananda, Bhagirathi, and Mandakini, they're like three small rivers. And when they all come together, that is when it becomes officially Ganga. Okay? And sometimes they're very fast. If you go to Uttarakhand or somewhere like that, Haridwar, etc., Gomukh, right? You see Ganga river, it is powerful, but it is thin, small. But if you go and see Ganga somewhere else, like as in Kashi, etc., it is a lot more powerful, a lot more wider, etc. Now, same Ganga, sometimes when there are no rains or whatever, it could become thinner like that. In some places, maybe may not be Ganga, but like sometimes rivers become dry and then they catch up again. Then they start again when there is monsoon, right? So like that, there's a flow is Virala flow is there. Okay. In Ajyadhara, flow is Sarala. Okay. Whereas effort wise, this is effortless. So what Bhagavan is talking about is in these two examples, Ajyadharaya Srotasa Samam Sarala Chintanam Virlata Param. So this Sarala Chintana, okay, Sarala Chintana means this natural flow of thought is better than Virala flow of thought. But it doesn't mean that, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to do Sarla Chintanam. I'm not going to do Virala Chintanam. No, we cannot do that. Okay. We have to start with Virala Chintana only, and over a period of time, that our Virala Chintana will turn into Sarala Chintana. Now, like if depending upon what are practices you have done throughout your life, even before either in this life or in the previous lives, maybe you may today you may already have Sarala Chintana. Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to start with Virala Chintana, but any seeker in the beginning will have to go through Virala Chintana. So depending upon the different levels of maturity of the seekers, we do one, we will fit in either here or there. So the purpose of this shloka is to say that our goal is we need to have natural, effortless, sajatiya, vritti, pravaha. The flow of thought about Bhagwan should be continuous. So that is the state that we need to aim for. How do we get to that aim? We start with Virala, and by practice, by abhyasa, continuous practice, we'll come to that. Okay, so this is the meaning of this shloka. Any questions on this shloka? So go ahead. You had a question? So the next shloka we'll chant. This shloka, in the previous shloka, what happened is that we classified dhyanam based on external practices, as in whether it is continuous dhyanam is there or incontinuous dhyanam is there, right? So that is one. In this shloka, the dhyana itself is graded, the content, okay? So there, the practice of dhyana is graded, Okay. Now the content of the dhyana is being graded in this shloka. Okay. I'll break down the words. Bheda Bhavanat. Together becomes Bheda Bhavanat. Simple. Okay. Soham ityasau. Soham. Soham itself has got Sa aham is soham. Iti. Soham iti. Asau. Soham ityasau. Okay. Sa aham iti asau. Together becomes soham ityasau. Okay. Bheda bhavanat soham ityasau. Bhavana bhida. So if you look into your texts, you see bhavana S bhida. Do you see that S in Devanagari script?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the S means?
Uh,
So that means bhavana abhida. Okay. Because so that abhida has been consumed because it becomes lupta. Okay. Because of the sandhi. So you need to understand that it is bhavana bhida. That's how we need to say. Okay. When you chant, it is not bhavana bhida. Not like that. Okay. It is bhavana bhida. So bhavana abhida pavani mata. So we'll repeat. Okay, we'll chant now. Bheda bhavana sohamityasau.
भेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ
Bhavana bhida pavani mata.
भावनाभिदा पावनीमता.
So I mentioned that in this particular shloka, Bhagavan is grading the dhyanam itself based on the content or the nature of dhyana. So when you're grading something, there should be a measure. Okay, with respect to what? Grading with respect to what? It is this bhavana. Is your bhavana is bheda bhavana or abheda bhavana? Okay. Bheda means different. Okay. So when you're doing chintanam, are you doing chintanam with bheda bhavana? What do you mean by bheda bhavana? That is different. Okay. What is this different bhavana you're talking about? Are you thinking that what is your thought? Saha aham. Saha means he. He is referring to who? God. Aham, me. Okay. Soham means saha aham. Actually, like soham also, actually, like when those two are integrated, it means saha eva aham. Meaning he alone is me, or that alone is me. So soham meaning aham brahmasmi. This soham is a short form for aham brahmasmi. Okay. So now, are you thinking that he and you are different? Or are you thinking that he and you are one and the same? When you're saying Bheda Bhavana, okay, oh, I and God are different. Okay. So asau I said, right? Iti asau, meaning asau means thought. Okay. Iti asau means this. This is thought. Okay. So what is thought? Soham is aham saha, saha aham, and aham saha. So that means actually soham is not just he is me, but it is integrated with he is me and I am him. what is the difference between he is, when I say he is me versus he is me and I am him. What is the difference between these two?
He and I, we are two separate. We are separating.
No. Oh, in the first statement has got only three words. He is me. Okay. In the second statement, there are 7 words. He is me and I am him. Okay. What is the difference between the first and second set of statements?
Is and am. There's no real difference because he is me and I am him. We are one practically. So there is no difference.
Okay. Yeah. There's a subtle difference. Okay. So what happens is, like in mathematics, okay, simple mathematics, simple mathematics, I think, elementary school mathematics, okay. You see that anything that has 4 sides is called what?
Square or a rectangle. It can be either, depending on the.
It can be a rhombus too.
Okay.
Okay. You know what rhombus is? It's like a diamond shaped.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now what is the difference between a rhombus and a rectangle? Angles are different.
Angles.
So rhombus means any four-sided one, okay? Any four-sided object is a rhombus. So a rectangle is a rhombus or not? A rectangle is a rhombus, but a rhombus need not be a rectangle. You see that? Or simpler one, right? Every square is a rectangle, but every rectangle is not a square. So if I say he is me, doesn't necessarily mean that I am him. Do you see the point? I came from him. Yes. Bhagwan, I came from Bhagwan. Yes.
Yes.
You came from Bhagwan. Yes. Okay. So now there is a question, right? I came from my father and mother. It doesn't mean that I am them. They have an independent life. I have an independent life. Their life experiences are different. My life experiences are different. Yes, we share certain genes, certain qualities, etc. But other than that, we could be different. So now this is a challenge is that all of us agree, all of us meaning every religious person agrees. What do we agree? That I am a child of God. If I am a child of God, I should inherit God's traits. Okay. But the moment I see a bad person, would I agree that he's the son of a God or he's a child of God? It is a little bit difficult to accept. Number one. The second thing is that I look at myself and I see so many imperfections in my life. Okay. In my life, meaning like not external, internal. Okay. In my own self, I see so many imperfections, and there's no way I can think that I am God. Okay. How can I be God? This kind of a question comes. So I understand that God is everywhere, and hence God is in me too, but I am not really God. I am different from God. That kind of a thought is there. So this Soham is saying that not only you are him, but he is you alone. So that means it is, you are not like square and rectangle, but you both are squares, and you are not even two different squares, but you are the same square.
Mm.
Okay, that's what it is. Because see, in this particular aspect, we have different, even within our Hinduism, we have certain different concepts of, or what you call like different schools of thoughts are there. We subscribe to, meaning we, as in, I represent Chinmay. I mean, like, I'm not an official representative, but I learned from everything from Chinmay Mission, Guru Parampara, and Chinmay Mission, or Swami Chinmayananda, belongs to the Advaita Vedanta of Shankaracharya ji. Okay. And Shankaracharya ji, so Advaita Vedanta, he is not the beginner, he is not the one who proposed, he was not the proponent of Advaita Vedanta, rather he brought out of the Advaita Vedanta aspect of Upanishads and Brahma Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, and said that, proclaimed that everything is Advaita. Now, just like Shankaracharya ji brought out the Advaita aspect, there are other Mahatmas who believe that Shankaracharya's interpretation is incorrect, and they have come up with their own philosophies, right? Ramanujacharya with Vishishtadvaita and Madhvacharya with Dvaita Siddhanta. Now, in Dvaita Siddhanta, it is God is, the relationship between you and God is like a master and servant. As in, God is the creator, you are created. God is different, you are different. And even the concept of moksha, there is, you can be near the feet of God, which is not bad. Okay. Doing his service and enjoy, reveling in the glory of God, which is absolutely fine. Okay. But that's all it is. That is the max we can aim for. That is what the Dvaita Siddhanta says. Vishishta Advaita says you are part of God. Okay. However, God has an independent existence than you do. Okay. So that is the Vishishta Advaita. Whereas Advaita says nothing doing. God is the only thing that is there. Other than God, there is nothing. Whatever you think you are seeing is God alone, absolutely God alone. Whatever you think you are is absolutely God alone, because there's nothing other than God. Because there is nothing other than God in this universe. Now, each school of thought, we all have proof. Not, I mean, like we all quote different parts of the same scripture to justify. Okay? So, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says in chapter 7, he says, I have two prakritis, para prakriti and apara prakriti. I am both. Okay. And there is nothing other than me. That's what he says in chapter 7. Then he says the definition of jnani is one who understands Vasudevam iti sarvam. Okay, everything here is Bhagwan alone, and there's nothing other than Bhagwan. When one who thinks like that, he is a jnani. That's what he says. So now, what about the other schools of thoughts? I mean, don't they see this? But they also see somewhere else where Bhagwan, in preparation to this, there could be other statements that are made uh, in the same scripture, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or where, Upanishads, etc., what we call as Avantara Vakya. Avantara Vakya means these, when we are building to a conclusion, what we will do is that let us assume you are not me. Okay. So then what happens? Like that, he goes on to this, but like there are certain places where he may say, yes, you are not me. Okay. So when he said that, that is what like they are, I mean, the other Siddhantas hold on to, and they say that no, this is more appropriate than the other ones, like that. Okay, so like that, different schools have different thoughts. Now the point is like, okay, which school of thought is better, or this school or that school? No, okay. I because my school of thought, no, not my school, the lineage of teachers that I belong to, it is Advaita. So we subscribe to Advaita. Now remember this. Let us not think about whether I am right or whether they are right. We all believe in Bhagwan. Because we believe in Bhagwan, if now let us say if Dvaita is right, when I do enough tapas, right, or enough sadhana, Bhagwan gives me Chitta Shuddhi and enlightenment to go to Dvaita Siddhanta. And if Dvaita Siddhanta or Vishishta Dvaita is incorrect, but they are also great bhaktas, they are also great sadhakas, Bhagwan will give them appropriate knowledge at appropriate time to follow Advaita. So, whether it is whatever school of thought it is, we'll just believe in God and the compassion and the power of God, and they will take us to the next step automatically whenever we are mature and ready. So, this the topic of Advaita or Vishishtadvaita or Dvaita, etc., I brought in is primarily to understand that there are different schools of thoughts. Okay, and here the way we understand Soham is he is me and I am him. There is absolutely no difference. That is our understanding. Okay? Now, just because I gave you the information about the other schools of thoughts, don't mean that you need to be worried that, oh my God, what if I'm following the wrong path? Okay, so there's no such thing as a wrong path, no matter which path you take. Okay, all we need to do is sincere sadhana, and Bhagwan is going to guide us appropriately at appropriate time. Okay, so that is Soham iti. So Pavani Mata. So Pavani Mata meaning this thought is going to purify. The thought that I am not different God, I'm not different, sorry, I'm not different God. No. I'm not different from God, that thought is going to purify me. Now, whether in this, what happens is that whether you think about Bheda Bhavana, God is different from me, or God is same as me, or I am God, these are all like different levels, and no matter which you take, right, the purification process starts, and you will go from, again, Ramana Maharshi Ji is also an Advaitin, right? So he says Bheda Bhavana versus Abheda Bhavana, meaning God and I are one and the same. That is Bheda Bhavana Soham Ityaso Bhavani Bhida Bhavani Mataha. So you understand that Abheda Bhavana, when you have, I am God alone, there's nothing other than God. When you have that, then that is way better. That is the understanding. Okay. So, Soham iti asau pavani mata. So this, again, what happens is that the topic is still Bhakti Yoga, right? So the union of the Lord and seeker, okay, is what is important. It shows, right? So you can start with Bheda Bhavana. God is different from me. That is fine. Okay. And when there is love, too much love, that Bheda Bhavana also melts. That's what he says. How? If you think about, okay, if you think about when you're in love, when you're in love, maybe like your spouse, okay? Now you haven't met your spouse, and one day you saw him or her, and you have nothing to do with that person, okay? You have nothing to do with that person at that time. Then someone said, okay, you're going to marry this person or whatever, or like, this is a suitor, or maybe you fell in love with that person and eventually you got married so much. Now, if that person is in pain, you feel pain. Yes. If that person is suffering, can you be happy if your significant other is, if your spouse is, for what I'm not, I'm not saying like that. In the past, there must be some instances where that person must be suffering from fever or something like that, or some kind of a pressure from work, and there was some kind of a pain, and like any mental pain or physical pain. There must be some times, right? Were you happy? And let's say, let him suffer or let her suffer. I do my stuff. Did we have something like that? No, we did not. Okay. Rather, what happened is we, when they are suffering, we are suffering. Why is that suffering happening? Because that love removed the Bheda Bhavana. It erased the barrier that he and I or she and I are different. That thought is removed. Okay? So, in the same way, when you start loving God, that Bheda Bhavana is going to be erased. That barrier is going to be erased. So, because of that, that Bheda Bhavana, you may start your Chintanam with a Bheda Bhavana, but you will eventually come to a Bheda Bhavana. Okay, so that's what. So, and hence, the love of Bheda Bhavana versus the Chintanam of Bheda Bhavana versus Chintanam of Abheda Bhavana, which one is superior? Abheda Bhavana is superior. Okay, so it's past 8:30, so we'll pause here. Yeah, any questions before we conclude? If there are no questions, shall we close? पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You all have a great week, and